Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Good morning to you, wherever you are in the world. I hope that you're doing better than good and better than most, that you're somewhere being safe and putting yourself in a position where you're absolutely able to live your best life every day. Hey, Megan, I see you. I see you, aka Flocka, joining as well for Deciphered. Hey, be pretty-ish as well. I see you all. Thank you all for joining me on Instagram. Thanks for joining on Facebook Live, and thanks for joining on Twitter Live as well for this episode of Deciphered, my spoken word series. Oh, from California, that's what's up. Good morning to you as well. So if you're new to our show, what we do every week is I share some poems with you all, and then I break down what was my inspiration or motivation for writing the poem. Every poem, as people say, is subject to interpretation, but I like to at least give you the interpretation that I had and the things that were going on through my mind when I was writing it. So that's what I'm going to do today. And of course, I've been reading, many of the poems I've been reading are from this book, from the Limbs of My Poetry, and you can get this book wherever books are sold. Hey, Joaquin, Phoenix Turkish, and Hamid, I see you joining as well. Appreciate y'all being up in the building with me. I've been from this book. Many of y'all have been buying this book. I'm actually working on putting together some audiobooks this year, but you could also get many of these poems, hey Ryan, from digitally from places like iTunes and Android stores, wherever things are sold. And of course, you can learn more about the work, the UpStander, international.com. That's what we do as well. So yeah, we've been doing this. I think we're in our third month now. I've been having a lot of fun doing this. I'm going to share two poems with you all today that I have never read anywhere, but they are in my book. So I'm going to put them to you. All right. So, and again, after this, if you are interested and want to get your workout on, you can join Shaumba for her workouts Friday at noon. And you can, on Instagram, at ShapeUpShaumba, you can get your workout on. But now let's get into some poetry. So check it out. This book was published in 2004. But many of the poems in it are older, right? So, yeah. So the poem that I'm about to share now, I actually wrote this about George Bush II. George Bush Jr., whatever people call him, W, whatever. But I want you to look at this right now and put everything that I'm saying right now in terms of Trump. So originally the poem was called Bushwhack, but I just want Avery, VCR, I see you. I want people to realize that the things that I'm saying, though they're about 20 years old, still apply today. So this is a call out to how these Republican politicians see young people. At the time it was Bush, but now it's Trump. See if you see any similarities. Check it out. For Bush, you are the WTO. Worthless teenage onlookers with no influence on his policies. You are the IMF. Immature males and females with no notion of the world overseas. You are his domestic UN. Uninformed neophytes partying all night under neon lights. You voting him out of office would be the decisive definition of a Patriot Act. Election day is on hope's horizon. Will you authoritatively act or wait for more years to react? 2. While you try to build international walls of peace, prosperity, and progress, your president has written you off as generation worthless. His evangelical is quite identical to dictators of past times, and since he does not respect your minds, half the world now hates your American kind. If America is really the land of the free, why won't you vote and liberate yourself from ignorance's policies? 3. Mr. President promotes policies that put all American people in peril. Preventing the peace process through preemptive propaganda is an act most feral. We're too busy trying to demonstrate, but we can't even regulate the air that we breathe. And his patriotic acts got us watching our backs and scared for what we read. But we gotta forget our fear and organize while he tries to globalize, because we cannot let him succeed. 4. Daughter asks, Daddy, why do you vote? Father replies, Baby, society seeks satiation from the milk of human kindness. Bush spouts No Child Left Behind, but cuts on educational spending have left too many of our nation's future on the sidelines. Daughter asks, but Daddy, why are you so vigorous on voting, especially this time? Father replies, baby, I vote so that you can claim your rightful place in the framing of our future's front line. That's a poem called Bushwhacked. We can put it up today. Hey, RQKJFD, so on and so forth. Jordan, I appreciate you. Peace out, VCR to you. We can call it Trumped, right? I call this Bushwhack, like I said, it was about George Bush, but let me put it into modern day context as I break down this poem. So this is a poem dedicated to all the young people out there doing the work in terms of activism, but historically, many of these people who've been doing this work have not voted. People have been out there protesting, and even I believe Mitt Romney said it just yesterday, that historically people out there doing all these protests don't show up at the polls. Hey Tali, I see you. And so we got to be mindful of that. So this is how I feel many of these politicians see our young people. You are the WTO, not the World Trade Organization, but worthless teen onlookers with no influence on policies. You are the IMF, not the International Monetary Fund, but immature males and females with no notion of the world overseas, playing off of you all or what of their perceived thoughts of how ignorant young people are today. You are the domestic UN, uninformed neophytes partying all night under neon lights. People are just talking about young people having COVID parties and all of that, but a lot of people are also seeing, hey, Instadon 22, a lot of people are seeing a lot of the activism now, but a lot of these guys in the Trump sphere don't see that and don't respect that. You voting him out of office would be the decisive definition of a Patriot Act. Now, of course, George W. Bush brought in the Patriot Act, but Trump cloaks so much of what he's talking about in patriotism, right? And so what I'm talking about when I say even today, you voting him out would be a decisive definition of a Patriot Act. You have a patriotic opportunity to vote. And so one of the things you have to ask yourself is, if voting isn't so important, why are people working so hard to suppress it and not give us an opportunity to actually do it? Election day is on hope's horizon. Will you authoritatively act or wait 4 more years to react? So we can get out there and do all the protests, but when it comes down to election day, if you're not going to put out that work, it's like, what's the point? 2, while you try to build international walls of peace, prosperity, and progress, your president has written you off as generation worthless. Where has the real youth engagement been as it relates to when I wrote this being about Bush or Donald Trump, right? They don't care. They don't care. His evangelical is quite identical to dictators of past times. Look at what Trump's trying to do now as it relates to becoming a dictator. Everything from day one has been about how can he maintain power. Every single day he's wanting to do that. And now with the secret police, we're seeing this happen on full blast. And one of the things that people have to understand with Trump is that Trump never jokes. Trump puts out feelers just to get people to kind of see how they really feel about a particular thing. Hey, Neville Phoenix, I see you. Just to see how people feel, and then he'll push it to the limit. So remember a couple of months ago, he put out this tweet of Trump 2020, 24, and then the numbers just kept multiplying by 4 or added by 4, 2028, 2032. Be president for life, be like Putin and over in North Korea as well. Hey, Cheryl, I see you. This is what he's attempting to do. So we have to fight, because he wants to be a dictator. And since he does not respect your mind, half the world now hates your American kind. We can't even travel to most places in the world right now. If America is really the land of the free, why won't you vote and liberate yourself from ignorance's policies? Never forgetting that you have an opportunity to do this, to change the course. And it's not about, Biden being perfect. It's like what Obama said when he was running. Don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative. And that's how I look at it every single day. 3, Mr. President promotes, now I'm playing with a little bit of alliteration here as well. Hey, Robert, I see you. A little bit of alliteration. Mr. President promotes policies that put all American people in peril, preventing the peace process through preemptive propaganda. A lot of alliteration there, but I think you get what I'm saying. Look, everything we're seeing right now is a propaganda machine with this man. And Hitler once said that, hey, Alia, Hitler once said that whoever controls the media controls the race. And we see Trump doing similar policies. People always calling Trump an idiot, but he's a master of media, and he's a master of the news cycle. Just look at how he has people airing his daily briefings, even though he's proven time and again that all he cares about is picking his political points because he can't have rallies. but he's still playing that propaganda. It's an act most feral, which you're basically trying to demonstrate, but we can't even regulate the air that we breathe. And so look, I'm all with tearing down statues and things like that. Hey, yeehaw, 24. I'm all down with tearing down statues, but to me, what's more important than the statues is the statutes, for real. And I'm talking about the laws, the things that need to change. We have, Trump and McConnell have appointed over 200 federal judges. People are going to be there for my kid's lifetime. And, those are the things we have to also fight. And so we can pull down a Robert E. Lee statue and everything, but we also have to get out there and make sure we're changing legislation, getting these anti-lynching bills passed that we've tried to get passed since 1882 over 200 times. And only Rand Paul holding it up right now. You should be calling him. You should be putting pressure on him and Mitch McConnell to bring it to the floor. But we can't even, and this patriotic acts got us watching our backs. People getting snatched up in the streets right now, so you got to watch your back. And scared for what we read, but we got to forget our fear and organize while he tries to globalize, because we cannot let him succeed. And the last part of this one, before I go into my second poem, I got 2 poems for you today. Told you I was coming back. Hey, D-Pain. Daddy, why do you vote? Daughter asks, Daddy, why do you vote? Father replies, baby, society seeks satiation from the milk of human kindness. Bush spouts, no child left behind, but cuts in educational spending have left too many of our nation's futures on the sideline. But Daddy, why are you so vigorous on voting, especially this time? I vote so that you can rightfully take your place in framing our future's front line. So I'm ending this particular poem with a conversation between father and child, just so people can kind of connect the youngest with the middle generations as well as with the elders. And so that's my first poem today, Bushwhacked. Also could be called Trumped, unfortunately prophetic. All right. This next poem, I'm just going to do it because that's what I do. I just do poetry. So, looking forward to your thoughts on this one as well. It's called What? And it's another one that I've never shared anywhere except in this book. What? Check it out. Deep. And I want to see if y'all can figure out who I'm talking about before I break it down. I think y'all can. Y'all smart people. Deep isn't when you don't get your check on Friday. Deep isn't how you try to opine in front of impressionable minds in the school cafeteria. Deep is what our ancestors are at the bottom of the Atlantic, having jumped overboard slave ships with their babies in a panic. What you are is shallow. Shallow like going to Sunday service in a limo. Shallow like saying you can't unite with your brother because he's a homo. Sexuality is a reality. Don't matter how a brother dies. It's another uncalled for fatality. Hey, Marty. Morality, what? You deem it moral to quarrel about Malcolm as our leader versus Martin instead, when they were both shot down dead in the head? Do you think the government cared or compared Christianity versus Islam? As long as one led us to our freedom, it was wrong. What's more insane is that they both died in vain. We went from making it plain to thinking we keeping it real. They've been killing our minds by committing the crime called Eurocentric education, grades K through 9. While we sing in hip-hop songs, they drop in academic napalm bombs in our schools, turning our great black minds into whitewashed fools. Why haven't you gone back to your school since you graduated? What? Are you emancipated? I'm not fascinated by your degrees, Negro. Please. You caught that disease called I went to their school so I'm better than you fever, while neither of you nor your degree has made us any more free. Got your PhD in Socrates, but didn't learn that we invented philosophy? What good are you to me as a soldier in their army? You need to shut up, fool, and get to work on the struggle and stop digging us deeper into oblivion with that shovel you call your tongue. Stop selling us out on every occasion and trying to show them that under that beautiful, bold, yet beleaguered black skin is a wannabe Caucasian. Embrace who you are and be proud of your African self, and your inferiority complex will take care of itself. What's up, Lloyd? I see you. So that poem is called What? And before I break it down, this poem is dedicated to many of my black brothers and sisters who I encounter who feel like kind of have this mentality is like, as long as they get that education, get this degree, do this, do that, they're gonna be fine. They made it. Thanks, T-Pain, appreciate that. They've quote unquote made it. But I'm like, yo, what's the point of getting all these education and degrees and then, like, if you're not building our community, if you're not building on our movement, right? You become a part of the problem. And so let's break it down. Deep isn't what you when you don't get your check on Friday, meaning that there's deeper problems going on in the world. Deep isn't how you try to opine in front of impressionable minds in the school cafeteria. And we've all had that experience, whether in high school or college, right? And people who come up there, think they got a little bit, hey Tony, think they got a little more history and knowledge, and they try to like preach to the crowd of people around them, trying to get like some followers and stuff. I've probably done it myself, to be quite honest. I mean, hey. But we've all seen it. Sometimes a lot of these poems I'm talking to myself. Judge me or don't judge me. I've judged myself already. Deep, however, is what our ancestors are at the bottom of the Atlantic, having jumped overboard slave ships with their babies in a panic. I'm asking us to put the challenges that we're dealing with. Hey, Kisheru. I'm asking us to put the real challenges that we have in perspective to what we've been in before. Because everything we're dealing with now, whenever I see these challenges going on, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, our educational system, I do get frustrated, I do get angry, but I always keep in mind a little bit that, remembering that we have been through worse, and we got through that. And if we can get through whatever happened before, we can get through this now, with the proper energy and with the proper organization and the proper knowledge of history. What you are is shallow. Shallow like going to Sunday service in a limo. Shallow like saying you can't unite with your brother because he's a homosexuality is a reality. No matter how a brother dies, it's another uncalled for fatality. And this is what I'm talking about as people, and it's not just within the black community. I'm speaking about black people in general, but all races experience this. People who spend so much time saying that they can't get down with certain people because they're gay, and not realizing that people like Bayard Rustin was one of the main architects of the civil rights movement, and that we've always had gay brothers and sisters in leadership positions, whether they, depending on the time that they lived in, felt that they could admit it or not. And my point is that we don't got time to get caught up in people's sexual orientation. We need to look for liberation. I like what Al Sharpton said when he was running for president. He's like, I don't care who you go to sleep with at night, as long as your ability to have to find a job when you wake up in the morning, because they were talking about unemployment. And that's just where I see it. But my point is that we pick these small reasons to not get together while other folks don't even care about that, and we end up losing. Morality, what? You deem it moral to quarrel about Malcolm as our leader versus Martin instead, when they were both shot down dead in the head? My point is just like, let's learn from the tactics. But let's not get caught up in so many things as it relates to, hey, what's up? You joining? You want to say hi?
No.
You ain't get in the building. What's up?
I'm just giving you a hug.
Oh, you're just giving me a hug. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Next time you're gonna do a poem though, okay?
Why? I don't do poems.
Not yet. I didn't do poems at 5 yet, but one day I will. All right. So my point is, what's the point about arguing, over these particular things? It doesn't do us any good. Do you think the government cared or compared Christianity versus Islam? As long as one led us to our freedom, it was wrong. No, don't touch that. It's going to fall. Thank you. As long as one led us to our freedom, it was wrong. Malcolm X, Muslim, Dr. King, Christian, and we both lost them, right? And it becomes extremely problematic. And so when I talk about it, be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Are you showing your muscles? Oh, got the power salute. Appreciate it. Auntie Marta said you can call her too. So I like that part. Oh, I'm glad you put that in on the video. Thanks. Oh, Sean was in the building from Florida. Hey, Sean, well, let me know if you're doing the workout, because I told people that you were doing a workout at 12, but I don't know if you're busy. So just hit me up in the comment and I'll let people know. As long as one led us to our freedom, it was wrong. What's more insane is that they both died in vain. We went from making it plain to thinking we keeping it real. They've been killing our minds.
Have some ice cream?
Yeah, I'll get you some. They've been killing our minds by committing the crime called Eurocentric education grades K through 9. We've been brainwashed with this stuff. We have to realize every single day that this education has not been giving us what we needed. How much have y'all learned about your community? Hey, Garrett, I see you. Hey, Gregory, I see you. So much you've learned about our history. If you're like me, you either learned it from parents at home or that conscious family member, or you learned it through like hip hop. And other places like that, you didn't get it in school. Look how many people just learned about Juneteenth, right? It wasn't taught in school. Or Black Wall Street, Tulsa, and the like. The education system, some people say it's not working for us. Some people saying it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. Only you can decide that. We're singing hip-hop songs while they're dropping academic napalm bombs in our schools, turning our young great minds into whitewashed fools. Why haven't you gone back to your school since you graduated? What, are you emancipated? And this is a direct call to all of you right here. You know, are you doing this? Are you going back and giving back to the communities that you came through? Or are you so, quote unquote woke, word I'm not a big fan of, but you're not quote unquote woke enough to go back to your community and do some work? Yeah, financial contributions is one thing. Well, one of the things Jay-Z said was that when he was growing up in the Marcy Projects was that if people grew up and became like doctors and lawyers, he never knew because they never came back to his community. So maybe it's all time to go back and snatch up our kids and our community and neighborhoods and our schools and make it better. Or if we have the ability, start our own schools like LeBron James and Maya Angelou charter school systems across the country. I'm not fascinated by your degrees, Negro, please. You got caught up in that disease called I went to the school so I'm better than you fever. While neither you nor your degree has made us any more free. Look, I've been at all of the schools. Harvard, Princeton, Morehouse, all that, everywhere. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I don't care what the degree says. If you got a PhD behind your name or no D behind your name, my biggest question is, what are you doing for the movement? That's all that matters. And should only be the only thing that matters. Got your PhD in Socrates, but didn't realize that we invented philosophy? Come on, Socrates studied in Egypt. They ain't teach you that? I know constitutional law students in undergrad who want to study constitutional law who their law professors didn't even teach them about the 13th Amendment not ending slavery officially because you can still be enslaved because of incarceration. What are you really learning? Got to question everything. You need to shut up, fool, and get to work on the struggle and stop digging us deeper into oblivion with that shovel you call your tongue. We're speaking our way into bigger problems than we're solving. Stop selling us out on every occasion and trying to show them that under that beautiful, bold yet beleaguered black skin is a wannabe Caucasian. Hey, P.V. Ledzigli, hope I said that right, sorry. Embrace who you are and be proud of your African self, and your inferiority complex will take care of itself. I do believe that at the end of the day, and Ali, you say, how will we stand up to make a difference if in your community and the greater world? Exactly. And all of us have to do it the way we see fit. Some of us are going to do it through teaching. Some of us are going to do it through our art. Some of us are going to do it through our activism. Some of us are going to do it through our financial contributions. What I'm saying is all of this talk is cheap. We got to get out there and do the work and stop trying to be like people we were never meant to be. Stop trying to act like people we were never meant to be like. At the end of the day, all you have is yourself. You have to be you because everybody else is taken. We're all born as originals, but too many of us die as copies trying to be like someone we're not. You know, my parents have their degrees from Harvard and all of these places and stuff, but they kept roots, the core to who they are. They kept true to who they are. And I'm telling y'all, if y'all want to get out there and do this work in the movement, you got to be true to who you are. Every single day, you have the ability to do that. But if you're not, you're a bigger part of the problem, and you become the type of person that people like me and people like VCR write poems about. You know what I'm saying? So those are my 2 poems this week. I told y'all I'm coming back with my 2 poems, and I'm back with that. From the Limbs of My Poetree is where these 2 poems came from. Poems I never read before. Hope you appreciate them and appreciate your thoughts on them. Of course, the book is available wherever books are sold online. And then, of course, if you want, some of these poems are available. Amazon and different places as well. iTunes and all of those places. A lot of tracks up on YouTube and Bandcamp. So, and yes, I almost said there is a workout today. And who was that? Oh, thanks, love. Thank you for speaking the truth. Well, hey, we all got to speak it, right? Because it's not about objective. We just got to speak the truth as we see it. So I'm going to let you all go. And I hope you all have a safe week. I hope you have a powerful week and have an upstanding week. Stay strong. Stay true. I'm going to go hang out with my boy. Peace out. Hey, what's up?
Daddy, can you get my ice cream?